Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It is afternoon for me, and I wanted to pop on to tell you a story that I just got done reading. Um, so it's time to get all comfy, cozy. I have my coffee, afternoon coffee. Got to keep going, you know. Mm. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Um, so the story I'm going to tell you is called The Red-Haired Girl. It's by Sabine Baring-Gould, and this was written in 1903. So this is an older story. So I hope you enjoy it. I found it um, pretty intriguing myself. Okay, so this is about a little family, and this is the mom's story. So the mom is the one telling the story. The mom's name's Julia. And so in 1876, a small family bought a house on one of the best streets in the neighborhood. Um, they didn't want to disclose the street because of the events that happened there, make people nervous. Ooh, isn't that the beginning of a good scary story? Okay. So the family was, there was a husband, wife, and a grown-up daughter. They did have two maids. One was a cook, and the other was the house and parlor maid. Because remember, um, this happened in 1876. Okay, so they moved into this little house. They're so excited, to be in their new little house. And one day the daughter came down. The daughter's name is Bessie. So Bessie went to her mom and was like, Mom, oh, and the parlor maid, her name is Jane, just so you know. So Bessie went to her mom and was like, Yeah, Mom, I don't uh, like Jane. And the mom's like, Why? Like, she does her job. She's amazing. Like, she handles everything we need done. What seems to be your problem with Jane? And Bessie tells her, Well, she's just she seems very inquisitive and she makes me feel uneasy. I feel like she's always watching me. I will just be doing my knitting in my room and then I'll notice her outside the door just watching me, just staring at me. And Mom asks, Are you sure? Are you sure it's Jane? She's like, I do think it's her. I would go to the door, but then when I get out to the hallway, no one's there. She's not there. I don't know where she's gone. Um, and the mom's like, Well, are you sure it's Jane? Sure it's not the cook? She's like, No, I can hear the cook down in the kitchen, singing and humming. So I know it's not the cook. And her mom's like, Well, I don't know. Maybe this is just a feeling. And have you seen her? She's like, No, but I know she's there. I know she's watching me. Okay, so Bessie has made it known she is very uncomfortable. So a couple days go by, and then Jane, the maid, goes to Miss Julia, and she's like, I think I'm going to need to go ahead and resign, find another place to work. I do not feel comfortable working here. And of course, Julia, thinking she's an absolutely wonderful maid, is like, why? Like, what's going on? What can I do to help you? She's like, well, for some reason, Bessie seems to just follow me around and she just, I'm doing my work, but I don't feel like I need someone hovering over my shoulder watching every detail of what I'm doing. Like, do I not do a good enough job for you? And she's like, yes, you do a wonderful job. Your work is amazing. We love having you. She's like, well, I just don't feel like I'm doing a good enough job if you're having your daughter watch me constantly. Like I do everything that's asked of me. And she's like, but she's not. How do you know it's um, Bessie doing this? Jane's like, well, when I'll be standing in a room, I'll just feel like I'm being watched. When I turn, there's like a girl, um, and I'm assuming that it's Bessie, your daughter, and she'll be standing outside the doorway. And then when I go to confront her, she runs off and she puts her hands up above her head. I've never seen her face, and she just runs off. And the mom's like, that can't be. Um, how about let's not do that. maybe you're just not sleeping very good. So I've got some pills that will help you sleep. So maybe you're just hallucinating, you know? So she's telling the maid, like, maybe you're seeing stuff. And the whole time, she knows that her daughter said the same thing about Jane, which is odd to her. Like, what's going on? Um, Mom doesn't believe in ghosts. She's like, so it can't be that. So maybe maybe it's something they're eating and they're hallucinating. So she goes ahead and gives Jane some medicine so that she sleeps good, and things are okay. And so a couple of days go by. I think it's about a week. And then the daughter has another encounter. She's in her room, and as she's looking through the mirror, she sees the girl behind her right outside her door. But then the girl throws her arms up in front of her face. She can't see her face. Again, she runs off. So she goes and gets her mother, and she's like, look, I'm terrified to sleep in my room tonight. Will you come in here and sleep in here? This happened again. Um, and she's like, yeah, but I'm really sure it's not Jane. They decided it wasn't the cook. Oh, and uh, Julia, the mom, did ask Jane, was it the cook that she saw possibly? And she said no. The same thing as what the daughter had said. No, because they can hear the cook singing and, making noise in the kitchen. So they know that the cook is in the kitchen. Okay, so the daughter's scared and asked the mom if she could stay. She's like, well, I'm going to give you something to help you sleep. The daughter stayed up till the wee hours of the morning, but the mom finally got her to sleep. Remember, she is a grown daughter, but that would terrify me if I'm seeing stuff. So she gets her to sleep. They get up the next morning. They go down to have breakfast. And then the mom um, decides to ask the cook if she's seen anybody in the house, anybody around. And the cook's like, no, ma'am, I haven't seen anybody. Just, Bessie and Jane, you and your husband. She's like, okay, so it's just the two so far that are seeing these things happen. Um, and so then the husband, they're all having breakfast. So this is about another week later. They're having breakfast, and Julia notices her husband comes down and he has something on his chin, like he's cut himself shaving. So he has a piece of cloth, to stop the bleeding. So he had that on his chin. And she asked him, so you cut yourself shaving this morning? What happened? And he was like, no. So one of these maids that you have working for us, the redheaded one, um, startled me this morning and I was shaving and she ran right in front of me and I backed up as I went to shave my face. And when I went to do it, I cut myself and there was blood on the floor. I wiped it up with your towels. Julia was not happy that he wiped it up with her towels. She's like, what are you talking about? It was like, it's the redheaded girl that we have working here. We need to fire her. Okay, so Jane and the cook are the only people that they have working for them, and neither one of them are redheaded. Um, so this is new. So now we know that it's a redheaded girl. The father has seen her, and he thinks that she works for them, and he does not want her working there any longer. Um, and so the mom's like, okay, I'll take care of it. She definitely didn't mention to him that Bessie or Jane felt like someone was around. Um, so she lets the events go. Um, so obviously the husband's now seen this person he thinks that is hired, working for them. Okay, so Jane gets startled again while she's cleaning. She's on the landing of the stairs, and she turns and she sees the girl again. And this time she goes to run down the stairs. As she runs down the stairs, she notices, because she can see the back of her, she's got red hair, and she runs off into the kitchen. So Jane follows her. Jane's running right behind her, and she runs into the kitchen, startles the cook, looks around, and the girl is not there. She asks the cook, did you see the red-headed girl that ran in here? And the cook is like, no, it's just me. I'm just, prepping food. No, I'd never seen a redheaded girl run by. So Jane decides to go talk to Julia again and let her know, look, I was on the landing in the hall upstairs. I felt that I was being watched again, and when I turned around, I did see the girl. She threw her hands up so I could not see her face, but she did have red hair, ran into the kitchen, so I chased her to the kitchen. When I got to the kitchen, the only one in the kitchen was Cook. Cook never seen the girl, and she was gone. She was not there. And so Julia was, she didn't know what to think. So far, Jane sees this. Bessie, her daughter, has seen this. She hasn't. Her husband has seen the redheaded girl. That's why he cut himself shaving, because she ran in between him and where he was shaving. So, but he thinks this person works for him. She's asked Cook if she's seen this redheaded girl, and no. So she's starting to wonder if they maybe have a ghost in the house, which I'd be wondering it too. Um, so Jane was so upset with this because, like I said, she's seen her. She ran off. Nobody else seen her. So Julia said, okay, well, here, take this pill so that you will be able to sleep tonight. So it's like a sleeping pill to help her sleep. I don't think at this point Julia is thinking she's imagining it, because it's not just Jane. Jane, Bessie, and the father have seen this redheaded girl, and she is getting kind of concerned with the situation. So she goes ahead and gives her a pill to have her go, to sleep and try and get some rest. And, you know, she doesn't know what else to say. So she goes to bed. Um, and so the next day, everybody's just doing their thing around the house, and everything seems calm and quiet. Nobody's seen the redheaded girl. And so the cook was making some special fish dinner for the family. Okay, I'm going to get a drink real quick, guys. I'm thirsty. Mm, coffee time. Okay, so she's making some kind of a fish dish for the family. So she's in there cooking. Everybody's doing their own thing. And then they start hearing screaming coming from in the kitchen. Julia was the first one to get into the kitchen. When she gets into the kitchen, she sees the cook laying on the floor, covered in flames, a lamp broken beside her. She rushes to her, trying to put the flames out because she is on fire. The father runs in next. They get the flames put out, and they just don't even know what's going on. And Julia is yelling at him, "Go get the doctor! Rush off! Go get the doctor now!" Because she is very, very, very badly burnt. She was just covered in flames on her whole body. So he helped her, Julia and her husband. They got the cook to her room, and he went to get a doctor. So the doctor came up, and it was pretty bad. So they were doing everything they could for her. You could hear her screaming upstairs. It was really bad. Julia is just beside herself. She doesn't know what happened. Like, nobody knows what happened. They got the cook, the doctor. They got her to sleep, because she was in a lot of pain. Anyway, so I think they gave her something to kind of put her out so they could take care of all the burns on her body. Um, so the next morning, Julia goes to check on her, and it's just her and the cook. And she's like, "Look, I'm sorry, ma'am." Um, and Julia's like, "Well, what happened? I don't understand what happened." And she's like, "Well, last night when I was cooking dinner, and I was preparing fish, and I went to go check on the fish in the oven, and so I had the lamp in my hand so I could see." Because remember, this is 1876. So she has the oil lamp, and she's overlooking at, going to bend over to look at the fish. And she sees none other than the red-haired girl. The red-haired girl, she said, came running at her. So she backed up because she thought that she was going to, run into her and hit her, want to knock her down. Well, when she did that, she tripped and she dropped the, um, I was going to say candle, the lamp. So she dropped the lamp, and it's an oil lamp. There's oil in it. When it dropped, of course, it's lit, it's on fire, it drops, it gets on her dress, and the flames, the oil splash. So she was covered in fire, and it was because that girl who ran by her. And Julia was like, "Oh dear, so you have seen the redhead girl?" She's like, "Yes, ma'am, and she will not be bothering you anymore." Um, and she's like, "What do you mean? Who is this redhead girl everybody's seeing?" So she tells her that at the last place that she worked, and this was many years ago, there was a redhead girl that worked with her. And this red hair girl, oh goodness, just got on her ever-loving nerves. She would read the letters that she would get that were none of her business. She would go through her things. She would go through her clothes. She was always snooping on her, and she would tell her, stop, mind your business. Like, mind your business. Stay out of my stuff. Like, because they both work together. Okay. And yeah, this redhead girl just would never listen. She just did her own thing. And so the cook finally just, she was over it. And one day, at the other place they were working, the red haired girl was bit down below the stove. And above her, there was a huge pot of boiling water because they were getting ready, to cook the dinner for that family that night. And she said she doesn't know what possessed her. She was just over that girl, so she dumped the pot of boiling water on her. Um, and so she did succumb to the injury she received from the boiling pot in the face. Now, that kind of makes a little bit of sense because, like with Bessie and Jane, when they seen her, they said that the girl would just throw her arms up in front of her, so you never seen her face. But, then after they seen she had red hair. Anyway, so that is what the cook did to this girl. She's like, "So this girl is not haunting your house. She is haunting me, and she will no longer be haunting you." Um, so it sounds like the redheaded girl was just trying to injure the cook. So the cook did know about the red hair girl. Um, so with the burns that the cook had, so she did succumb to her injuries. So she did die. And then after she passed away, she only lived probably another day after she had told Julia what was going on. And then she had passed away. Um, the father, of course, did not know that the redhead girl had not worked there or anything. He was upset because cooks, good cooks are hard to come by. Like the father, I don't feel like cared, but like I said, Julia didn't explain anything to him on what was going on. So the cook did pass away, and then after her passing, the family had no more encounters with the red-haired girl. So it sounds like this red-haired girl was just a vengeful ghost, and it's sad to hear what had happened to the cook, but you know, honestly, with what the cook did to the red-haired girl, like, are you kidding me? I mean, I can't imagine being so upset with some. I get it, like, I get the annoyance. The red-haired girl kept reading her letters, digging through her stuff, like, would not stop. But pouring boiling water on her, like, and then the red-haired girl setting her on fire. Yeah, that is the story of the red-haired girl. So, like I said, after the cook had passed on, the red-haired girl never haunted the family anymore, so that they could live in harmony. But that was the experience that they had when they moved into their brand new house in 1876. Well, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's story. I thought it was very interesting. I didn't see that twist at the end coming where the cook had killed the red-haired girl, so the red-haired girl, took revenge on her. That was a little crazy. Um, but yeah, tell me in the comments what you thought about the story. I thought it was very interesting. Um, and I hope you liked it. So just let me know in the comments below. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will be seeing you again soon. Bye.